who am I and why do I teach this? So, in the past, I was a poet. I'm a published poet in the Netherlands, acknowledged on the artistic side. And I also studied art history and architectural history. And then I worked a lot with museum art of all ages, but especially modern art and contemporary art. And that made me a museum teacher as well because I taught children and grown ups. So, yeah, I had this role of teacher, but also performer because as an author, I would read my poetry. But then I learned business, and my mission was to connect creation, creativity, business, and my divine mission. Because I had, in fact, a spiritual teacher all along while I was doing all of the before. So I tried to connect all these things creation, creativity, business, and my divine mission that was supported by my spiritual teacher that I had all along. And then came this beautiful time in my life when I even met Shiva or Enki or the big master. And I truly met him. I don't mind what you think about it, but there it is. I have put a picture of one of his forms that he can appear to on in the world. These archetypal gods and pictures are real, and they have many forms all over the world, but they just refer to one idea, principle, but it's also true. It's real, it's a person, I met him, and that was a chance of a lifetime. Because this is what I had been longing for many lifetimes, and this changed me for the better. And him and the other masters I since then worked together with fully and consciously. And that is the masters that I mentioned there. But we work together in a spiritual sense. Although they're just normal and they live on the earth, we work together in a spiritual sense. So, and we, what I call we is more me and my co-creational partner, my true twin flame. And we're very connected to the magician's power. And between masters and magicians is the word school, and that's because there's only one true school in the world, and that's sort of in the spiritual world, in the invisible realm, let's say. That's the co-creation between the masters and the magicians. And it manifests into their school and our school that are physically, in fact, like separate schools. And you're in the school of the magician, or in the build-up. How did I get to do this? I mean, where does this come from, you know? How did I get on this path? And how did I even invent this philosophy? And how did I become dean of the school? Because that's how I call myself now on social media. That's even the identity from which I am on all my social media right now. And I'm doing this webinar for you in that sort of title, right? The dean of the school, what's that? It's the person, the leader of the school that knows what journey is best for you to take through your spiritual, money, and love education. The school is actually what I said already. It is the mystery school in the world between the masters and the magicians. And you are in the manifested magician part of that school. So, what is my story? So let's look at the money story because it's actually a funny story because I remember that as a teenager I was really afraid of like money in the bank because nobody explained that to me. I was afraid of that. And actually later, now I look back, I'm like, yeah, but that's actually kind of normal. I mean, money is not really taught at school to us, and also not really in our ways of growing up. Yeah, you get like pocket money every week, but that was it, sort of, right? I mean, I was very afraid of it, but I mean, I don't want to be too psychological, but actually looking back, I was also afraid of men at that point. I mean, isn't that sad? It is, but and I mean all of that got resolved. But anyway, I think this is true for many young women. So I'm sure there are typical things in our society for young men too. But this was for me the big point. But the strange thing was that I was also attracted by money. So I was afraid of it, but I was also attracted by it. And I later on saw this when I was in my adolescence and I went to study. I studied art history in another city, and I grew up and I was living in the other city on my own, was studying, and I actually realized that I wanted to specialize in art and not in architecture. Architecture is much more like structural and masculine, whatever. I wanted to do art. It has more of a connotation, just connotations, right? Atmospheres. I don't mean that in an all too literal or social or societal sense. But, and architecture has more like the feeling of that's how you can make money. But I was attracted to the poetry of art and like the artisticity of art and like the, yeah. But I was also more afraid of that because actually I had grown up with architecture because we always talked about houses and stuff where I grew up because my dad was in that realm, so professional in that sort of realm. But I wanted to do art, and of course you couldn't make money with that. What will your profession, for God's sake, be? And I also thought I couldn't do it. I was very afraid of it. I thought I wasn't able to understand, grasp the meaning of paintings and stuff. But I wanted to choose it anyway. So I was again very afraid of this, but I was attracted to it also, and then I did choose it. And it turned out very well because it was really my thing. So I learned in a couple of decades by now and episodes, learning episodes in my life that the thing I was very afraid of was also the thing that I was going to choose and attracted to, and was actually very fitting for me. So later on, when I 1 decade later started to learn business, I got also this spiritual inspiration that my whole spiritual mission was even about, like love and sexuality and money and relationship in the twin flame way, but it was also about money at the same time. I was like, geez, it just came out of me, like this is what you're about, Petra. You're about money. I mean, and I was very afraid of that. That's why I did the business course individual 1.5 year deep into it because practical it's very practical because I was afraid of it, and at the same time that same realm in those same couple of years was actually the first thing that happened was that it came up in my soul that I was about money while I was afraid of it. So it was so funny. And then later on I understood that this was really my thing. And maybe the decade that got after that, I even learned that I wasn't so good at business in itself. Because it's a lot of the time I also got to see in practice it was about ego and people walking over me sort of, which I did myself. So I had a lot to learn there, right? That's how it goes. And in a sense, I wasn't good at it because I was trying to do that eco business while having a spiritual content, and that worked not well. I was walked over, and I didn't understand how to escape that. So I did many attempts to escape that thing I was in, while still honoring that I wanted to do business with a spiritual background. So that was a whole struggle, man. And here it comes. I did go down. I did go tremendously down. In fact, I only invested, and I do not regret that because now we're more on the upside. And now I'm more understanding that I do take both topics together, spirituality and business. And I'm now at a personal place in which I can fully make them co-create in a new way and in a unionized way. And now I'm at this place that I finally resolved my own upset with that stuff. And now I'm also at a place in which I can acknowledge that looking back over the entire journey, like since my adolescence, right? I can see that I invested 600,000 euro approximately total, in which I also count like sort of the missed revenue in those years when I felt walked over and wasn't able to resolve all these issues yet. Um, and I spent 20 years learning. And how deeply grateful that made me, and how incredibly blessed I felt, and how incredibly I had made that come true to the point of states of being achieved, of feeling really good in inner work. And now for me, also that dip of the money, even over the entire journey of those 20 years and that 600,000 euro, that can turn around now and go to the up part, right? The journey up more than ever. And at that point, I did become the dean of the school. It's an honorary spiritual title that is also a way of pronouncing what that is. It's a very deeply spiritual thing. That is the most, commonly sounding like a normal job in our society. And that's why I like that term. I was also officially the dean of the school in that monstrous school. And now I am that freestanding on my own in the magician's department. Feels very good to me to be that for you on all my social media worldwide right now. You can from now on follow me to see my divine money come in more visibly, right? And also come my let's follow me to see my twin flame come in more visibly, my ultimate co-creational partner, and come working with me because we're still building that actual visibility as a partner beside me, but that will grow, that will come, and there will also come times in which it is, also socially working out for us, for him to show up. So in a more visible way for you, right? Where at this point that's not possible, but that will come. And you can work in tandem with me to grow towards that money success and also that spiritual twin flame ultimate co-creational partner success.